everyone, it's Mike Johnston with CMS Critic. Today I'm having a chat with Tim Brigham, CEO of DotCMS, and also one of the original founders of the product. So let's get straight to it. So Tim, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Mike.
it. Appreciate it. We're here in the Architect office in Toronto and meeting up with you guys. They're one of your platinum partners. Just as an FYI, they're not actually, DotCMS isn't actually located in Toronto, but we thought it'd be kind of fun to take a tour through one of their partners' offices and blend that in a bit, so you'll see more about that coming down the line. Can you talk a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and then with all the different products on the market today, I mean, there's a lot of CMS companies out there.
Absolutely.
What led you to feel the need to start DotCMS? What drove you?
Well, we've always been in content. Myself personally have always been a part of communications and content for our customers. So we, from the get-go, have always been focused on content on the web in a lot of different ways. And in 2005, Willie Zell, who you will be meeting as well, and I, as well as Jason Smith, got together and saw what was out there in the marketplace and kind of realized, like a lot of our peers, that we think we could do it better. Look at content from more of a web developer angle, rather than from some of the legacy that it was coming from. We thought a different trajectory would make sense. So in 2005, we really set out to make the experience better, not just for the developer, but for the business user and the market altogether.
Right. Now, DotCMS specifically, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the 3.2 release. I mean, I'm going to be going through it with Will and taking a more in-depth dive, but what was your main objective with the new release?
Well, again, it's part of our continued pursuit of pushing DotCMS, kind of keeping our ear to the rail and listening to the marketplace in the best way possible. Right. And our efforts are focused on R&D and pushing DotCMS forward. So it really goes down to the root of, providing a platform that allows developers to easily and efficiently deploy any kind of content-driven web application they can think of. And along with that, balancing the dependencies between IT and the business user and the web developers, so that there's more capability and functionality that can be pushed up to them, allowing them to be able to do more, which then frees up the developer in the IT shop to focus on other things that they have to focus on. So we really actually create a lot of harmony, because as you well know, that can sometimes be part of the bottleneck of developing on the web.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think is interesting when you look at all the different products that are in the market now, we've got sort of that suite concept, right, where people are of the belief that you need to have a content management system blended with marketing, blended with analytics, and there seems to be a lot of when a product exists, so you take like a Marketo, you take a Google Analytics, you take all these other guys that specialize specifically in creating software for that specific purpose, then you have CMS platforms that are feeling the need to sort of reinvent the wheel, I guess. What is driving you guys? Do you see a need to move into, I guess the catchphrase would be customer experience management platform, or do you want to focus more on CMS at its core and making that better? Maybe you can talk a bit about that.
Well, it is something I think most web content management or CMSs deal with in regards to the direction they're going in. I think we believe in providing a platform that gives companies the freedom to innovate in any way they want to, and I think that includes kind of the customer experience. We want to get out of the way. We want, and when I talk about freedom to innovate, I'm talking about the ability to, instead of prescribing an experience that we think their customers should have, we let that organization create their own. And we kind of, like I said, we don't provide the canned processes or the obstacles. Sometimes they're obstacles, sometimes they're tools, but we really try to get out of their way and let them create their own on that end.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way of handling it. I mean, that's part of the issue is you're in with a lot of these big suited packages. There's I guess a case of feature overload that can be applied, right? So people are spending too much of their time trying to figure out how to use all those different facets of it, and losing focus of what the tool's supposed to be doing in the first place.
Oh, and I truly believe that be it a company like Architect, or be it an in-house or on-premise resources that are developing it. I think those developers, they're all entrepreneurs in spirit, and they all want to create.
Yeah.
And it's something that we see all the time, and we see great stuff being developed on top of .CMS. And we always look at every implementation is unique. There's not the same implementation, and I think companies and business users and marketers even look at it as we have to express it the way we want to express online, and how we interact with our customers. And so for us, we are going down that direction. We do see the importance of customer experience and of course the tools that need to be provided on that level.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we always keep in mind that we want to take it to a point where it allows those developers, or allows Architect to then take it all the way home and let them develop something that is unique to that organization.
Yeah, well, there's the point where you can enhance on an existing product and make it better, right? Or you can integrate with the ones that are there and kind of blend it in nicely so that it's a fluid, cohesive integration, right? So one of the other questions that I think is important to ask, there's a lot of, not so much now, I think it's starting to fade a little bit, but there's been in the past a bit of a stigma attached to open source, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of open source products can be criticized because people are afraid and it's a misnomer for sure, that they're not secure enough, that they're not, that the code being out there is a risk issue, right? And I think a lot of that stems from perhaps some of the less strictly managed open source products that are out there, right?
Yeah.
But what led you guys to go the open source route in the first place, and why do you think it's important?
Well, I think with .CMS, and specifically the .CMS enterprise offering, we kind of offer the best of both worlds for an organization. Most organizations, they want access to the code. They want that ability to be able to develop new features through our APIs, but also, again, stretch our platform in any direction they want to. We've done a lot of co-op development projects where we have partnered with organizations to develop specific features that end up in the .CMS open source code. So we're allowing our customers to kind of participate in that way. But the R&D we drive. While there are contributions that do come in as a normal open source project would, we have a fairly large R&D operation that pushes this thing a little bit quicker and a little bit faster, meeting the marketplace needs. So we understand there's kind of a tight schedule on that end as well. But open source is very important. The idea of open source to a large organization is very important to their ownership and understanding of the project as well, and them taking on the platform and developing it moving forward as well too.
And do you think that's one of the advantages that you guys have? I mean, so there's obviously, we talked about the security aspect of open source, right? And then there's also the concept that open source equals free, which is true to a degree, right? But not necessarily meaning price-wise.
Right. Well, the community edition is our free version of .CMS, and it's a fully functioning CMS system that you're able to run on a single server and do those things. And of course, the enterprise level opens up more features. It's a little bit more in regards to enterprise deployments on a publishing environment with push publishing. And we find that when you balance it that way, the ones that are looking for the free version find us as a great resource. And of course, the corporations who are looking for open source, who also want to pay, they want to be supported, they want to be part of our R&D efforts, find the enterprise to be exactly what they need as well too.
So a little bit of a blend of both worlds. And then of course you've got the advantage of them being able to get in there and take a look at how your code is structured in the first place. So there's that ability for them to have it even vetted out before they talk to you.
Very much so.
Right, very much advantage there. Yeah, very cool. What are your plans long term for .CMS? Let's say, it's your typical question, right? What do you see 2 to 5 years down the road? But I think in this instance, with the way things change, obviously it's an important one. We've seen the advancement of mobile and how far it's going. Now people are starting to make phone calls with their watches. Soon we'll be doing the Star Trek badge.
Right, exactly.
What do you see for .CMS a couple of years down the road?
That's a great question, and I think if you asked anybody in our organization what that looks like, we all have probably a different look.
Right.
That's how we kind of operate, and we try to keep our opinion strong and kind of triangulate, pull in different directions to come up with the right direction along the way. And what we really find ourselves at this point is I think on the right track of being that content platform.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't matter if it's on the web, if it's your refrigerator, if it's a display at a bank. DotCMS can power all those things. We really are a content repository for a lot of things. So that's definitely the direction we're going in. We've kind of held, in looking out that 5-year path, is making sure that we remain true to ourselves as that content platform.
Yeah.
So that if things change that we don't even see coming, we're still a good solution to go with on that level. So
yeah,
yeah,
right on.
All right.
Well, thanks.
Hey,
appreciate
thanks.
it.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me down.